The Church of Our Lady of the Cave. The Church of Our Lady of the Cave is located adjacent to the north wall, approximately in the middle of the monastery. In front of the main door is a small garden. From the outside, we descend several steps to the arched porch, which contains the door of the church, next to which is a mosaic of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus. The floor level of the porch leading to the church is 3 steps below the level of the roadway, and there are another 6 steps from the porch down into the church. The middle sanctuary of this church is dedicated in the name of the Virgin Mary. It is in the east of the church, and the altar is inside this sanctuary. The iconostasis is made of wood, inlaid with ivory in the form of crosses, and dates from the 15th century. Above the iconostasis is an icon of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus, and on either side we find the 12 disciples, with their names painted on the icon. At the very top is the crucifixion, and on either side, St. Mary. On the left wall of the iconostasis, there is a larger icon of the Virgin Mary who is sitting on the throne holding Jesus Christ, and on the right is an icon of Christ sitting on the throne, raising his hand as a sign of blessing, and in his other hand he holds a Bible. His head is surrounded by an aura of light, with the shape of a cross with 3 branches superimposed within the aura. The sanctuary to the right, on the southern side, is dedicated to the name of St. Mark the Apostle, and has an iconostasis of more modern creation. On it are icons of the fathers of monasticism. From left to right, they are St. Pacon, the father of spiritual communal monastic life; St. Anthony, the father of monasticism. In the middle, St. Mark the Apostle, who preached in Alexandria, the clue to which is the image of a boat and the lighthouse of Alexandria on the icon. His name appears in Coptic on the icon. On the right is St. Macarius the Great, founder of monasticism in Wadi Natrun, and finally, St. Shenouda the Archimandrite. All of the saints in these icons, on this part of the iconostasis, are represented with a staff in one hand and wearing the habit of a Coptic monastic life called an escheme, with the exception of St. Mark the Apostle, who wears a blue tunic and a red cape. The sanctuary to the left, on the northern side, is dedicated to the martyr St. George the Roman, well known from the story of St. George and the Dragon. Looking at the icons here, they are from right to left the martyr St. Abanub and St. Mina the martyr, the miracle worker. Behind him in the icon is a representation of the monastery in Mariut. In the middle of the iconostasis is St. George and St. Abu Siphan. Next icon is that of the chaste martyr, St. Demiana, and the 40 virgins. In the choir, on the wall in front of the sanctuary of St. George, is a relatively new reliquary cabinet which has 2 sections. The first section holds the relics of St. John Carmer, the priest, whose relics were brought here by monks who came to the monastery after the monastery of St. John Carmer was destroyed in the 13th century. The second section contains the relics of 12 saints of different nationalities, who are St. Ephrem the Syrian, whose tamarind tree still stands in the monastery, which we will talk about later; St. Severus, Patriarch of Antioch; St. Dioscorus, 25th Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of the See of St. Mark; St. Kyriakos the Anchorite and his mother St. Julietta the Martyr. the martyr St. Theodore the Oriental, the 40 martyrs of Sebasta, St. James the Mangled, the Persian martyr, St. John the Short, St. Moses the Black, St. Archimedes the monk, and finally the reliquary of St. Mary Magdalene's hair. There is an icon of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus with 3 angels forming an umbrella over her head, and below her is St. John the Baptist holding the foot of Jesus Christ, reminding us of the verse in the Gospel of St. John, chapter 1, verse 27, "He is the one who comes after me, the straps of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie." On an icon of St. Elias, we find small images of Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary above the image of St. Elias. Below him is a text naming the artist as Rumi of Anastasia in Turkey, and telling us that it was painted in 1582 for the Coptic calendar of martyrs. An icon of the crucifixion. On each side of Jesus Christ are the thieves. The image shows 3 soldiers. The middle one, between St. Mary and Jesus, holds the spear that pierced the side of Christ, and on the right of the Virgin Mary stands St. John the Beloved. There's also an icon of the resurrection, also painted by Rumi in Anastasia, Turkey in 1582 for the calendar of martyrs, which is similar to an icon in the Coptic Museum in Cairo. On the right-hand side of the cabinet is an icon of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus Christ, and there is a similar one of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus on the left side. This cabinet is decorated with marquetry panels of geometrically shaped and stained wood. It is particularly beautiful. Timber is the main material used in Coptic art. It's an easy material to work and was used to decorate church doors and thresholds. Carved and lathe-turned timber was, and still is, often used to frame icons. At the western end of the choir is a foot basin, used during the Mass held on the Feast of the Epiphany. The basin located in the Syrian Church of St. Mary is used during Mass twice, on Covenant Thursday and during the Mass celebrating the Feast of the Apostles. The door separating the second choir from the nave is made from beautifully shaped geometrical and polygonal patterns in timber and dates to the Fatimid period. What distinguishes these doors is that they are decorative and have no inscription. The door consists of 3 6-metre long leaves. In this choir in the southern wall is the only door into the church. There are several outstanding icons on the walls of the choir, but they are modern. On top of the west wall of the third choir, there are 3 pieces of marble, each inscribed with a letter. Each of the letters is a symbol representing an aspect of Christian theology. The middle one is Phi, which represents God. The one on the left, to the north, is Alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. And the one to the right, on the southern part of the wall, is Omega, the last letter of the Greek alphabet. These last 2 letters signify that God is the beginning and the end of all things. This choir also has a large collection of modern icons of martyrs and saints. The church was constructed in the 9th century and was named because of the secret cave in the church. It can be reached through a secret door in the wall of the northern sanctuary and was used by the fathers and monks during Berber attacks. It is still there today.